Welcome to episode 3 of the Tradepreneur Show. I'm Patrick Summers, your host. Joining me today, again, Mike Costa, keeping me on the rails. And of course, this gentleman here is not just somebody I have a professional relationship with, but I also consider him a true friend that I've developed over the years. Jay Nixon.
Thank you, brother. I feel the exact same way.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's we've grown together.
Totally.
But you, the professional side, is you're actually my trainer, my nutrition and workout coach.
Absolutely.
Mental health too, I would say, in the sense of keeping the right outlook.
I don't know what title I'd put on it, but all those things are true. All those things are very, very true.
Yeah, and
how did you get hooked up with him? I mean, how'd you meet?
So my wife has been going to his studio, Thrive, right? It's in our hometown, Palm Desert, California, for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Right.
This will be my 5th. I just started my 15th year in business here in Palm Desert.
So she's one of the early ones, right? And so the funny thing is, I used to make fun of Jay, right, with my wife, right?
Okay.
And I always used to, because she'd be like, she has to listen to. He does a really good a podcast, and he does a weekally call.
Yeah, I do weekly training calls.
Yeah, and so she's very committed, and it's shown, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing the transformation she's had. But I used to be like, oh, hashtag J Nation, right? Hashtag J Nation. And but I had gotten to, so as you chase success in certain areas, especially business, what I find and what I found, now this isn't for everybody, but it happened to me, is I let every other aspect of my life kind of go.
Yeah.
And I woke up one day and I was 360 pounds.
Good Lord, seriously.
Yeah, 360 pounds. And now I'm a guy, in high school I swam the 500 free, I ran cross country, I did a stint in pole vaulting, got addicted to weightlifting and quit that. But I've always worked out. I've never had a trainer. I know how to eat. I know how to do, but I got to a point where I needed help. And I think the biggest thing for me was knowing I needed help. And as much as I used to joke with my wife about Jay, right? And I only met Jay a handful of times at different events and stuff. I knew without a doubt he's the one guy I needed to go see. So I still have the text I sent him. I sent him a text, and he's like, all right, come on in. So we come in, and we've been together 3 years.
Yeah, about 3 years now, yeah.
And I walked in the studio. I want to hear your take on what you thought, because when I walked in, and he had me doing the ball slams, I barely picked the ball up. And if I did pick the ball up, I was afraid I was going to fart and blow everybody out of the building, right? So, I mean, I was in a bad place, right? A bad place.
Yeah.
But here's why I wanted to, and if I can set the tone with why I needed to change, for the obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
The obvious reasons, obviously, are longevity, health and wellness that goes along with that, feeling good about yourself, having the energy. But there was a deeper reason that I really wanted to change. And it went to, I set a goal of growth for general air conditioning and plumbing. And I wanted to hit a certain revenue and profitability target in a certain amount of time. And so I lined out what my obstacles are going to be. And the number one obstacle was my health and wellness.
Because you got to be around to be able to accomplish those goals.
You got to be around, and you got to, it's like 1:30 in the afternoon. I'm in a meeting with the leadership team, and I'm like, all I can think about is going home and going to bed.
Okay.
Right? And so I was like, the number one thing I have to do is to get in the best shape of my life. I didn't want to just lose weight.
Yeah.
I want to get in the best shape of my life, and I'm still on that journey. I'll always be on that journey. But anyways, when I walked in, do you remember that first day?
Totally, absolutely. I think one of the main reasons when you made the decision to make the decision is, I'm a little bit of an outlier when it comes to like fitness and nutrition and owning a studio. Is I'm one of the pioneers of bringing personal development in accompaniment with the fitness and nutrition. Like, I'm a mindset guy first. I don't care what it is we're doing. I don't care if it's our relationships, our money, our finances, anything. If the mind's not where the mind needs to be, the body's never going to follow. So I realized after years of working with people, all over the country, is that if the mindset wasn't right, like I can give you the best nutrition, I can give you the best workouts, not going to matter. So I think that's why you were drawn to me, because you're a big personal development mindset guy. And I knew that coming in, just knowing about you through Mary Beth. And I knew that there was going to be different ways to get you to do the things that I needed you to do. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just going to be, hey, Patrick, here's the workout. Hey, Patrick, I need you to eat this and don't eat that. I approach you from a really different perspective than probably any other trainer would. Is like, we talk about like how you're thinking first, how you're speaking, like what are your thoughts? Like all that stuff's way more important than just, hey, Patrick, pick that ball up and throw it down. So I knew I was going to take a different avenue with you than probably any other trainer would have, or any other nutrition coach, or any other doctor, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we've had the majority of the success we've had, is because I know how to motivate you outside of the food and the workout. It's mental first, and then when I can tap into that aspect for you, then everything else just takes care of itself. Like you'll work out till you're blue in the face, but I position that with setting the mindset first.
Did you both have maybe around the same time, that seminal moment of, okay, I can really start to see the weight come off now, and I'm really starting to see him turning that proverbial first corner?
I had it because I wore this Under Armour, I forget the brand, the Rock has this brand, and it was a shirt a buddy of mine had got me a couple years ago. And it was like, I don't know, 4X, 3X. I don't know what the hell it is. But it was the only shirt I could really wear. And I wore it a lot because it fit me,
Sure.
right? And it looked pretty decent. And it kind of motivated me too, right? Because, you'd see what's written on it. And so anyways, I wore that. And I wore that every single workout.
Every workout.
I'd go home and I have to wash it.
Yeah.
I'd go home, I'd work out, go home, wash it. And I wore it. And I got to a point where it was like hanging to my knees,
Yeah.
right? Because the belly was starting to go away. And so now it was hanging to my knees. And I remember one of his very good trainers that I work with as well, Marissa, she's like, Patrick, it looks like you're wearing like a dress or something. So I took that off. I never wore it again.
Awesome.
But I have it folded up in my closet, saved,
Yeah.
because that is one of those things. But that was the realization for me. I don't know if
Very similar. You would come in and that thing was becoming a hindrance, more than a statement piece. And I just remember thinking like, we got to get him to a place where, you're comfortable in the other clothes. But yeah, you can, I'm always assessing, as the person that does what I get to do. I don't even know what I call myself. But I'm always assessing, and I'm looking at like just the behavioral changes and things of that nature. And oftentimes words don't even have to be spoken. It's like, he would walk in the door of the studio and a different person began to show up. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Just through energy. It wasn't even like words that were spoken, because he's a hard worker. I mean, whatever workout I throw at him, he's going to get it done. But there was just a different energy that walked through that door. And so that's when I was noticing those changes well before words were spoken or clothes were changed or anything like that.
All right, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back. And when we get back, now that you know a little bit about Jay and my relationship and why he's a big part of my life and success, I want him to share with all the viewers and listeners why he thinks New Year resolutions are bullshit. And basically how you can set yourself up for success and basically deploy some of the things that I have and that he shares with a lot of his top clients. Patrick Summers here, General Air Conditioning and Plumbing. I want to talk to you about our Service Plus program. Right now, for $189, you can get your heating tune-up done, a plumbing inspection, and an electrical inspection to make sure your major systems and components of your home are not only operating efficiently, but most importantly, safely. Let's get you comfortable. Let's make sure you're safe. Let's get your systems tuned up, dialed in, and ready for a new year. All right, we're back. And so as promised, Jay, One of the things early on you always used to tell me is, New Year's resolutions are bullshit.
Yep.
And I take the same philosophy. I believe every day, the next day is New Year's. The next hour can be New Year's. You don't have to wait for the end of the year to get things right or reset. I'm a firm believer. I love Mondays. I hate Fridays because Fridays creates this mindset that, oh, we just coast and we're relaxing and everything we do during the week just goes away and we go into kind of party mode, relaxation mode, whatever. And then Mondays, everybody's like, oh, it's Monday. Monday, I'm like, man, God created Mondays so that we can start over and redo the week, right? So share like your whole take on New Year's resolutions, because this is a time of year. We're in January. We're at the perfect point where probably most people have fallen away from their New Year's resolution.
Yeah, it's usually about 3 weeks in. But so I'm a big believer. One of my life mantras is winners don't wait. So I'm consistently trying to get people to just take action, right? The calendar in and of itself has created a lot of these like false timings of life. Like I'll do this when, this will happen when, right? And we kind of like, we map our lives out based on this calendar that I don't even know who created it, but whatever it is. And so I'm just a believer that like whenever the time is now, right? Like let's go now. And so I think New Year's resolutions fail because they're not built on the foundation of, like we talked about earlier, mindset first. They're always built on a fictitious goal that somebody wants to achieve, but there's really no system. I'm a systems, processes, standards, habits guy. And the resolution itself is not built on any of those things. And so I think it has to start with, I'm a big New Year's solution. If you're gonna go New Year's, I'm a solutions guy. I'm not a problem guy. I always tell people like, we can talk about the problem for 10% of the time and then we're gonna spend 90% of our time talking about the solution. So I think that's why they fail, is the resolution itself is built on a house of cards because it doesn't have the foundation and the processes and the standards. So when I'm talking to a client who wants to achieve a goal, like the processes, standards, rituals, and habits always have to be in alignment before we can even talk about, that. You mentioned my weekly training calls. I've done almost 800 of those over the last 15 years. And one of the things I talked about on last week's was that people see the world in two ways. They're one of two ways. You either see the goal or you see all the problems that are in the way of the goal, right? And so those are the two areas. And so when you're setting a resolution, most of those people are just looking at all the problem. And eventually the goal or the resolution itself becomes so cloudy and so muddied up that you're never, ever going to get there.
Yeah. And with, what you're saying and the New Year's resolutions and all the other stuff that has to come into place before that, right? How much, do you feel like it's the worst time to start something new? I feel because you're carrying this energy of ending the year and there's a new year and any of the issues you've had in the previous year aren't going to stay with you. So you're going to start and then you set a goal for a whole year and like that's a long time to just say, I'm going to work out 3 times a week if you're not working out.
For sure.
Right? Or I'm not going to drink any beer if you're drinking beer 3 or 4 nights a week. And I think that my belief is people carry the energy of the new year into something. And that energy of the new year is not sustainable.
Well, the energy is built off of you. Again, let's go back to the calendar. You're coming off of the 3 most dangerous months of the year, right? If you look at October
so many ways.
Yeah, if you look at October, November, December, I mean, it's a minefield of chaos from A, you're hanging around family more than you usually do, which usually creates problems. B, the food options are horrendous.
Yeah.
The weather in most places, I mean, we're lucky where we live, but in most places of the country, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, right? You're trapped inside. Your availability for movement has diminished. The clothing that you wear is conducive for hiding that extra 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds. It's a nightmare. And then you say on January 1, well, I'm just going to change all of that, right? I don't care what we were doing, right? Like you're taking bad behavior and all of a sudden on one flip of the coin, you're going to change everything. your standards, like I said a while ago, your standards aren't ready for that. Your habits aren't ready for that. You have no processes in place. So that's why I'm a big believer that, like, A, don't wait. But B, if we're going to set some new guidelines for our life, they've got to be backed up by a lot of the fundamentals, like the mindset stuff that we talk about, and then the processes and the things of nature.
And Patrick talked about the first time he came into you in obviously at 367 pounds, that's a major red flag, but you were more like, okay, are you mentally ready to start getting yourself into shape? And the simple, you talked about the people that look at the goal, the people that look at the problems in front of the goal. It's so easy to talk in terms of, well, hey, tomorrow, Monday, I'm going to start doing this.
Oh, totally.
But how many people literally do not possess the ability to step one it, to actually get up and go and do that? And I've been in that paradigm before, but the frustration must be just unreal. You did it.
Yeah.
You're like, shit, I want to be around for all my goals and things like that. But the person that's trapped in that, I don't know what to do, or I can't do it, or I'll just do it tomorrow.
That's a great
what
question.
blows me away.
Yeah. Well, and most people, if you just look around, are trapped in that, I'm going to do this when, or tomorrow's the next day, or Monday's the next day, or back to that system. I think a lot of people that do make the change hit a place like Patrick hit, where it becomes like the catastrophic thing is next. You know what I mean? Some people have to get to the place of like, oh, I had the heart attack. Now I'm going to make some changes.
Sure.
I think Patrick was at least wise enough to preempt that by saying, like, at my current state, the next thing that's going to happen is going to be catastrophic, and I might not be able to walk away from it. And so he was in that position, and a lot of people make the decision when they're there. And so I think that's a catalyst that I'd like to see people not have to get to, but sometimes that's what it takes. It takes that major life event. And so what I'm consistently preaching is, like, for Patrick, I knew when he came in, like, Patrick has the right mindset. Like, that's never been, you know, a situation for him, but I needed to get all of the other things, the systems in place, the habits in place. Because the way I talked to Patrick was from a business owner's perspective. So I think you have to meet people where they are. It's like, I never talked to Patrick about, like, oh, hey, and let's create a workout schedule and whatever. I talked to him about running this like he would run a business, right? And so I think if I'm talking to an accountant, then I have to, you know, and I'm trying to help them get in shape, I talk in terms of numbers. I talk in terms of spreadsheets. I put it on a P&L, right? I talk about things of that nature. And I did the same thing with him. I was like, Patrick, if we're looking at a profit and loss statement, where are we at here, right? And so we had those kind of conversations. And I think it's a little bit of a nuance of, like, understanding your client, like, where, and meeting them and talking the language that they speak, right? It wouldn't have done me no good to come in and talk about his hemoglobin A1C and blah, blah, blah. He understands that because what his wife does for work, but that doesn't register in his brain. He's a business guy. He's a high achiever. He wants to win. Like, he wants to do all those things. So I just positioned all of my discussions around that level of conversation.
Yeah, and I'll never forget when he started talking about the profit and loss, debits and credits, and related that in business to me and how the choices I'm making, and it was impactful. And then he knows, like, one of my goals, I want to have a jet one day, and I can go into more detail as to why I just have different levels that if you can achieve this in your spiritual, professional, personal, all different areas of your life, there's kind of these markers that say I've arrived. Yeah. So he used to say to me, we'd work out, and it would piss me off in the sense of like a good way, right? He'd be like, we're working out, he'd be like, you know, you're never going to live long enough to get that jet, or if you do, you're not. Somebody else is going to fly in it. You're going to get that jet. Your wife's going to. I would ask him. I'd say, how's it? Right?
How's it going to feel? Like, depending on the afterlife, how's it going to feel when you're gone and you're watching somebody else fly around in that jet you worked so hard for?
Yeah, and
right? But I wouldn't say that to everybody, right? That's not a statement you make to every client. Sure. But you have to know your client. I know him well enough to know, like, Patrick's not the kind of guy, hey, you did a really special job today. Like, I'm so proud of you. It's like, hey, listen, I'm going to fly on the jet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to, you know, how are we going to get there?
I love it.
So,
yeah. What I want to ask you is, so the impact you've had on me, right? And so I'm a big believer. So I hear these people say, you've changed my life. No, that's not true. Nobody can change your life but you.
Agreed.
Right? So Jay is a catalyst to help me change my life. But at the end of the day, it's you, the individual, that has to change your life. And so never give somebody else credit for something that you have to do. And that's always been, and again, I think goes back to, we talked in a few episodes ago about the impact my father had on me. And it was always like, you know, the saying, if it's going to be, it's up to me, right? But you can get the right people, the right catalysts to surround you to help you change your life. And Jay has been one of those individuals and is going to continue to be one of those individuals. What can you say to the listeners? Like, how can they apply this? What do they have to do if they're still into their resolution and they're on the right track, or they've already quit their resolution, or they don't even have one, but they're listening and they're like, man, I need to change. I either need, maybe, and it's not always losing weight, right?
No.
There's a lot of people walking around that look like really fit and have a horrible A1C.
Yeah.
Right? So how do I do? What do I do? And how do I stay committed to it?
Yeah, I think this time of year right now, everybody's talking about, like, you know, the new year, new me, the whole, you know, there's memes galore, you know, on social media. So my big thing about that is, like, if it's actually going to be a new year, then you're going to have to make some new decisions, right? You're going to have some new habits and some new standards, or it's just going to be another year. You're going to rinse and repeat, you know, plug and play, and the results are going to be the same thing. So one of the big things I would say to most people is, and very much like you did, you got surrounded by the right team of people to help you get to where it is you want to go. Like, you're a very driven, motivated, high, you know, impact type A personality, but you're also wise enough to know that you're not going to get where you want to go on your own, right? And you have to surround yourself. I call it the circle of success.
Well, I'm wise enough now. There's a time that I didn't have that wisdom.
You sent me that text message, right? That took a lot for you to be able to pound that out. And that was you saying, like, listen, I need a different circle of success. And so that's what I would tell everybody who's watching and listening, is that the people that you surround yourself with have to be the right core of people, right? They have to be the people that are going to inspire you, motivate you, and give you the tools necessary for you to make the change. Because like you said, you're the only one that's going to do it, but I'm a firm believer that we don't get anywhere in life on our own, and you need to surround yourself with really positive, powerful people. And so that's the first step I would say, is, like, assess your circle, the people that you're hanging around. And if you're not motivated by those people, you've got a cage, not a circle. And so you want to make sure you have a circle in life. And so get a trainer, get somebody who motivates you, get around new friends, new people that are doing the same things that you want to do. I think that's the quickest way to get out of the place that you're in, because you do have to make those changes.
Well, and I think, you know, for my wife, that's one of the things that's really great for her going to your studio is she, like, I want to show up by myself and do my own thing, right? And I want you to beat the hell out of me. My wife, she wants to be with people that are all in the same mindset and working together and everything like that. And that's why she goes to the morning session, right? And that's
why we have both, because it's something different for everybody.
Yeah. So one of my journeys this year is to kind of lower some of the barriers I built up around me, right? Which, you know me, that's a hard thing to do, right? And in my own further growth journey, right? And I want to know this because I think there's people out there that could be experiencing the same thing. Tell me something. Tell me when you working with me, what my biggest struggle? What's the number one thing I really need to change and start doing, whatever, that, because you know me really well.
Yeah, perfect. You know, I think one of the greatest forces in the human spirit is to stay consistent with who we believe we are, right? That identity. And so your identity as Patrick, the entrepreneur, Patrick, the business owner, Patrick, the general, Patrick, that business side, very, very in alignment with everything that you want to get, how you're going to get it. Your identity when it comes to your health and fitness is not the same identity. And so in 2025, my goal for you is to start to see yourself in that new identity of, you're the kind of person who is healthy. You're the kind of person that does not stress eat. You're the kind of person that doesn't take the stress from work and allow themselves on this side to have the excuses, have the things. You don't make excuses at work. You don't make excuses when it comes to your business. But when it comes to your personal health, you'll use that. And everybody's the same way. Like, every person has a weak point in their you know, their circumference, if you will. Yeah. For you, it's like, you get so stressed at work sometimes you'll let that bleed into your health and your fitness. So in 2025, our goal is to get you to identify differently. And so one of the ways that I personally do that I'm going to try to transfer over to you is that people always ask me questions like, Jay, how do you do this? And I say, I've already made up my mind, right? My mind's made up that this is what Jay Nixon does. There's no gray area, there's no anything. And one of the sayings that I'm going to give you today that I want you to start using is, if I wasn't me, then I wouldn't do that. So I'll give you an example. Some days I get up and I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go work out. And I say to myself, if I wasn't Jay Nixon, I'd stay home today. If I wasn't Jay Nixon, I'd sit on the couch today. But I am, so I don't, right? If you're Patrick Summers, you go to the gym. You're Patrick Summers, you eat healthy because you have a bigger goal. So that's the identity that I want you to start thinking. Your mind's already made up. And if you weren't you, you could eat that pizza. You could have all those cakes and candies. But you are you, so you don't get to do that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, one last question, and again, I think a lot of people can relate. What you just said, I know I'm not the only one.
No.
That's my journey, that's my struggle, but I think there's a lot of people out there that deal with that as well.
100%.
And to be able to have somebody in their circle that can tell them that,
Yeah.
that's huge to me.
Oh.
Now, but let's leave on a high note. Tell me the one thing I'm doing well
Oh.
when it comes to the journey.
Oh, I mean, you're consistently dialed into wanting to be better. Like, I think that's one of the key factors is like your desire to be a better version of yourself never wanes, right? You don't always hit home on it, right? But it's never, there's never a doubt in my mind that you want more, you want better, you want to be the best version of yourself. And I think that's a trait you can't coach. Like,
I think you're supposed to say the Tradepreneur Show
Oh,
is
yeah.
doing really well.
and I feel like if you had a podcast like this, that it would be unbelievable. So congratulations on your new show, which I know is going to be an abundant success.
Well, and I hope that the two takeaways there that are my personal struggles and successes, you can take something from that, right? And I certainly did. I mean, that's why hearing that, I've taken something from it, and I hope other people can apply that. as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Before you get out of here, where can people find you? Website, numbers, all that?
Absolutely.
Good stuff, socials?
Yeah, website is just Thrive Forever Fit. So the word thrive, the word forever, the word fit.com. I am the Jay Nixon on Instagram. That's probably the best place to find me.
Awesome.
Cool. And they don't have to live in the desert or.
I have
the
clients.
Southern
I have clients
California.
all over the world. Actually, I have clients in Australia. I have clients in Switzerland. I have clients all over the globe. So it doesn't matter where you are. I can fix you.
And I'd love to have you back too as we get it down the road because you. have
Oh,
a
I'm
whole
coming
supplement
back.
line
Like,
and
yeah,
things
don't worry
like
about that. Like,
So, awesome. Cool.
Love it.
I love you, brother.
Thank you. Love you too, man. Proud of you.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Tradepreneur Show. I'm Patrick Summers, your host. Hope you can listen to us, watch us, YouTube, and all of the streaming platforms and social media channels at the Tradepreneur Show. Like us, follow us, share us. Appreciate it.